Hey everyone, just wanted to give you an update. The edging is done, but the projects aren't done. So you know how one thing leads to another? I want to take you around and I want to show you the edging and the gardens. I've got them planted up, and then also tell you a little bit more about what we're doing with the circle. So come along with me, let's get going. Okay, let's start with the fountain circle. So as you can see, the edging got put in. What happened though is the backyard grade is not level, the ground, and by putting the edging in, it really emphasized that it was not level. And so I just didn't like the look of it. And so I just thought it needed a redesign. And so what we did was, that was all mulched, if you remember, and I can throw a picture up on the screen so you can see what it looked like previously. And we had to take all the mulch out, and when I say we, my husband did that and took all the mulch out and then got the rototiller out, and as you can see, it's still a work in progress. He did the rototilling last night for the first time, and it'll need some additional rototilling. And then we're going to try to flatten that out, level it out. And it's not going to be perfect because we would actually have to come in and have the whole yard regraded to make it, you know, flatter. And we're not going to do that. So I just want to, as much as we can do, and just kind of even it out a little bit. In the back there of the circle, it was very high. There was like a pronounced hump that you could see in the ground. So we're trying to even that out. And then we'll flatten that out, and then I'll have my contractor come back in, and we're thinking we're going to rock it with the same rock that we used around the foundation of the house so that it matches, and we just have the two different mediums. We'll have the mulch on one side and then the rock on the other. So I do have more boxwood that I've purchased that I'll have to plant up once we get done rototilling and smoothing it out, because I did take out the actual stones that were there that were a pathway kind of around each one. There was like little stepping stones on each side. So I'm going to fill in then with boxwood and just make a boxwood circle, and then maybe just put planters like I had in there. I do like having the planters in there because they provide the summer color that I'm not going to get if I put either a shrub, evergreen type shrub, or a perennial flower in there. I won't have the all summer color pop. So that's why I do like having the planters with the petunias in them, because it automatically gives me summer color all year or all summer long. So that's more to come, and we'll take you along for that as it progresses. So let's go over here, and you'll see that I've taken now my actual planters that were around the fountain out and kind of just put them on the rocks for now, just so that they're out of the way, just where I could find spots. But you can see all of the rock, how that turned out with all of the pavers. And I ended up having about 250 feet of edging, and that didn't include the fountain circle. That was just around the backyard of the garden. And how the contractor had to do that then is he had to come through and, of course, dig this all out first, which is really a skill, because I tried to do it on my own, and you have to get it just right or it's all uneven. Like if you dig too deep, then your stone isn't going to match. Then he came back in with the paver gravel and laid a base of that, and of course that all has to be tamped down. And then he came back over the top of that and put a base of sand, and then that has to be tamped down. And then he put each individual paver in and would use like a mallet to put it into place, to pound it into place. And then he came back in with a special sand and went over in between the cracks of each of the pavers to fill in, because I don't want grass to grow up in between them. And then you wet that. That's polymer sand. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's a type of sand that once you wet it down, it kind of turns like to concrete. So then it's supposed to, you know, be so that the weeds won't grow up through it. But, you know, he even said that it's still not maintenance free because eventually that sand will break down and you'll have to do something with it, replace it or whatever. I did all the shopping for the plants and all the planting of the plants in the new area. He came back through in this area because it was the rock, and he put the fabric down and then brought in all the rock. Now in all the mulch areas, I bought all the plants and planted them, and then I put all the fabric down and mulched it all. He only came back if it was rock and put the rocks in. You can see the Eden roses are doing beautiful. That hot pink on the black totara just is a beautiful contrast. And the white roses, the salvia, I just really like that combination. Over here, the hybrid teas have just started blooming. I've got Paris and Princess Charlene. So they're a peachy salmon pink color, and the white delphinium is blooming right now with the black centers on it, the dark centers. And then the roses back here are still blooming too and looking good. The urns are looking really good. The clematis in the background, the Jacklemania, it just started blooming in the last week. And then on the far side of the arborvitae, that is the sweet autumn. So that's the white clematis, so it'll bloom later in the season. So I've got the purple there. And then these roses are looking good. I bought a new delphinium that's getting ready to bloom. It'll be a purple one. I have it protected with the rabbits. I haven't been seeing rabbits lately, so I'm thinking maybe I'm to that part of the season where there's plenty of food and they're leaving my flowers alone. And as you can see, these knockout roses are doing, these three knockout roses have been here the longest. They were part of, this garden has been done in segments over the last probably 5 or 6 years. So this was the first part of the garden that I did, and I only had the 3 roses, well, I had 4 roses, and then the line of arborvitaes, and that was all that I had for a few years. And then I just gradually started adding on sections every season. And as I'm going along, you can see how well the edging looks. I just really like how it turned out, and I think it really accented the back garden really nicely. And my Eden rose in the back that I had told you about previously, way back there on the other black totara, it's the more of the creamy white pink rose. And I had mentioned in the last video that I was concerned about if there was something wrong with it, like rose rosette. And one of you had responded and gave me tips, and thank you so much. I've been spraying it with rose spray, and it seems to be coming out of it. It's putting on lots of new growth now and looking good. I don't see a lot of blooms, but you know, I was concerned that I totally was going to lose it. So it's looking better. And it's second season. So a lot of these roses, it's only their second season. And then all of this is new down here that I just planted in the last 2 weeks. So it's a baby garden. It's going to take some time for everything to get established. That is one thing that my contractor said when he looked at all my plantings. He goes, I don't mean to criticize, but do you think you overplanted? And I'm like, what? Overplanted? Can you ever overplant? And you know you can, but yeah, it's just hard when you're out looking at plants and you see all the beautiful things, and it's like, I want one of those, and I want to try one of those, and you end up with a lot more than what you thought. So the garden house window boxes are looking beautiful. They're doing really well. And you can see I had a little pathway put in, kind of like, I wanted like rug size. You know, I didn't want it huge, but I wanted a little, or not really even a pathway, a little area where I can get into the garden house and not track in the mulch. The mulch was not working because every time I would go into the garden house, I would get mulch all in there from my feet. So this has, and that is that special sand that's supposed to turn to the, you know, be more like a rock. So I'm hoping that I won't be tracking sand in. We'll have to see. But I think that turned out really nice. And then he put in the little edger of stepping stones. And a lot of this, guys, we just kind of did as we were going along, like figuring out how we wanted everything to look. And like I mentioned, we laid out rope to draw out the lines because you can see there's a nice curve there. And the whole yard, because I like the look of curves, I had a lot of curves put in the edging and stuff. And so once we got going, it would be like, well, what about if we move it here? So there was a lot of, I wouldn't say changing, but adapting as we went along, just because visually I wasn't sure until I was actually seeing it if we needed to change something. And you can see my lime lights in the back are doing pretty well. This is all newly planted. So this has all been planted in the last, probably what, 3 weeks maybe? So we've got a lot of baby plants in there. And the window boxes on the side of the garden house are looking nice. My Generous Gardener roses on the arch. Now those I just planted this spring, and I looked last night and the taller one has little tiny baby buds on it. So I'm really excited. And you can see how close they are as far as proximity, but the size difference. The far one over here is much bigger than the other one. So that's just kind of strange, but you'd think they'd be identical, but they're not. And then on this side over here at the back of the garage, I mimicked the same plants as I have on this far side. And the back, I have not done anything with, because I think I mentioned before, this is our grilling area. And I should throw up a picture of what it looked like before. It was a hodgepodge of leftover stepping stones that my husband just laid down so he could like have a flat spot to stand on when he grilled. Well, we went and I got the matching stones that go with these little pavers, the same family of stones, and had a little pad put in for the grill. So we're liking that. Actually, my husband's liking it so well, he's thinking he wants it even bigger. And so we'll see what we do there. But everything is looking really good. And like I said, now it'll be the circle that we'll be working on, trying to get that all figured out, since that really is the focal point when you first walk in the back of the yard. When you come in through the side gate over here, I mean, obviously that's going to be the thing that's going to be drawing you in and the attention that you're going to be seeing. So I really wanted that to look nice. So I'm liking how everything is looking. It's looking really well. The roses are looking well. We are going to have some extremely hot temperatures in the next week, and we are still in drought in the Midwest. So I am having to water a lot, and especially with all these new baby plants, keeping them well hydrated. And I just posted a video on the deck update and for summer, the new furniture. Loving that. We are coming out and using that when we can. So really enjoying that. I like the swing chair. I'll come out here at nighttime and sit in the swing chair, and like I mentioned, I can turn this. It turns 360 degrees. So I'm able to, my husband set it low enough that I am able to sit in it and look at the garden from all directions, and I absolutely love that. Well, thank you for coming along with me, and like I said, I just wanted to provide an update on the beautiful edging and how things are coming along. So have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.